Guillermo de Anda, an archaeologist from Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History, has recently excavated a dark, dank subterranean tunnel about 1 foot high. Of course, being so low in height, he had to crawl inside, which was definitely worth it. After enduring a lot of difficulty in navigating the narrow and complex underground caves, when Guillermo finally laid eyes upon the treasure he had come across, he was brought to tears. Hello and welcome back to The Abandoned Archaeologist, the channel to learn all about ancient archaeological findings. Today we'll discuss the discovery of ancient Maya relics in a dark subterranean tunnel. But before we begin, to get your attention, we have a question you can answer at the end of the video by watching it. The images and symbols used in Maya writing are known as what? So write down your answer in the comment section and see if you got it right. Here we begin with the video. Archaeologists in Mexico announced last week that they had discovered a cache of over 200 Maya artifacts beneath the Chichén Itzá, an ancient city. The discovery of the Yucatan Peninsula cave and the artifacts, appearing to date back to 1000 AD, was not what the team was looking for. Instead, a local told the archaeologists about the secret cave known as Balamku, which means Jaguar God. Locals had known about the cave for decades, and about 50 years ago, some of them told archaeologist Victor Segovia Pinto about it. Still, he ordered it sealed for unknown reasons, causing it to be forgotten. So the explorers decided to search the cave chambers this time, which required crawling on their stomachs for hours to reach the prized artifacts. The archaeologists were initially looking for a connection between flooded caves to gain access to a cenote, natural sinkholes believed to be sacred and openings to the underworld by the ancient Maya. That is supposed to be under the main pyramid in the area known as both El Castillo and the Temple of Kukulkan. The group performed a 6-hour purification ritual with a Maya priest to ensure a safe journey before entering the cave. The artifacts include ceramic incense holders, decorated plates, and other items in excellent condition. This collection may aid archaeologists in their quest to acknowledge more about the Maya civilization's rise and fall. The archaeologists' next step will be to complete the analysis of the cave and artifacts and create a virtual reality 3D scan model replica of the cave. Maya civilization. Mesoamerican Indians were known as the Maya, who used to live in southern Mexico, Guatemala, and northern Belize. More than 5 million people spoke 30 Maya languages in the early 21st century, most Spanish bilinguals. Before the Spanish conquest of Central America and Mexico, the Maya had one of the most highly advanced civilizations in the Western Hemisphere. The Maya had settled in villages and developed agriculture based on the cultivation of beans, corn, and squash as early as 1500 BCE. By 600 CE, cassava was also grown. In addition, they began to construct ceremonial centers, which by 200 CE had grown into cities with temples, pyramids, palaces, ball courts, and plazas. They farmed, worked gold and copper, built great stone structures and pyramid temples, and used a form of hieroglyphic writing that is now mostly deciphered. The Maya designed paper using the wild fig tree's inner bark and used it to write hieroglyphs in books. These books are known as codices. The Maya also developed an elaborate, beautiful tradition of relief carving and sculpture. The primary sources of information about the early Maya are architectural works, stone inscriptions, and reliefs. In addition, the earlier Olmec civilization impacted early Maya culture. The Maya's rise began around 250 CE, and what archaeologists call the classic period of Maya culture lasted until around 900 CE. At its peak, the Maya civilization included more than 40 cities, each with 5,000 to 50,000 people. Tikal, Huahatl, Copan, Bonampak, Dos Pilas, Calakmul, Palenque, and Robec were among the major cities. However, the classic Maya civilization declined precipitously after 900 CE, leaving the great cities and ceremonial centers deserted and overgrown with jungle vegetation. Some scholars believe that the decline was caused by armed conflicts and the depletion of agricultural land. Scholars in the 21st century have proposed several reasons for the Maya civilization's demise. One likely cause was the disruption of river and land trade routes caused by the war. When the Spaniards conquered the place in the early 16th century, most Maya had become village-dwelling agriculturalists who practiced their forefathers' religious rites. The major extant Maya cities and ceremonial centers are comprised of various pyramidal temples or palaces overlain with limestone blocks and richly ornamented with ceremonial, narrative, and astronomical reliefs and inscriptions that have ensured Maya art status as the premier Native American culture. However, the true nature of Maya society, its hieroglyphics meaning, and its history's chronology remained unknown to archaeologists for centuries after the Spaniards discovered the ancient Maya construction sites. Systematic explorations of Maya sites began in the 1830s, and a portion of the writing system was deciphered in the early and mid-20th centuries. These discoveries shed light on the Maya religion, founded on a pantheon of nature gods such as the sun, moon, rain, and corn. Based on these discoveries, scholars in the mid-20th century assumed that Maya society consisted of a priestly class of peaceful stargazers and calendar keepers, supported by a devout peasantry. In contrast to central Mexico's more warlike and sanguinary indigenous empires, the Maya were thought to be completely absorbed in their religious and cultural pursuits. However, the gradual decipherment of nearly all Maya hieroglyphic writing has provided a more accurate, if less elevating, picture of Maya society and culture. Many hieroglyphs depict the histories of the Maya dynastic rulers who waged war on rival Maya cities and captured their aristocrats. Torture, mutilation, and sacrifice to the gods followed for the captives. Torture and human sacrifice were primary religious rituals in Maya society. They were thought to ensure fertility, demonstrate piety, and appease the gods. If such practices were abandoned, cosmic disorder and chaos were predicted. Moreover, human blood was thought to nourish the gods and was thus required for contact with them. Thus, the Maya rulers, as the intermediaries between the Maya people and the gods, had to get through the ritual bloodletting and self-torture. What about the Jaguar God? The Jaguar God of the underworld, like the water lily jaguar, was a supernatural jaguar being that the ancient Maya believed existed. This god appears to be associated with the underworld, or Xibalba, and may have been a manifestation of the sun god. Other names for him could be the Jaguar Night Sun, the Jaguar War God, or JGU. Besides having jaguar features, the Jaguar God of the underworld has some other noteworthy characteristics. For starters, his eyes were square. This is not unusual, as other ancient Maya gods also had square eyes. His pupils resembled spirals. A twisted cord or rope rises between the eyes, which archaeologists call a cruller. Then there were his teeth, or more accurately, tooth, as the ancient Maya only drew him with one. They did, however, draw his tooth in two ways. First, a fang was one of the two things they drew. The second method was to draw it in the shape of a capital T. Both of these teeth were located in the middle of his top gum, where a person's front teeth should be. Purpose of the Jaguar God. The Jaguar God of the underworld may have been the sun at night when it passed through the underworld and was associated with the moon. As such, he could have been a sun aspect. But there's another possibility. The Jaguar God of the underworld was possibly a fire deity. For example, the cruller could be a rope used for a fire-making tool known as a fire drill. There are also images of certain elites performing fire rituals while dressed as the Jaguar God of the underworld. This supernatural being was linked to several other things, including war. According to art and myth of the ancient Maya, the Maya believed this god was a patron god of war during the classic period. So he wasn't just the patron god of the number 7, but also the patron god of the number 8. The Jaguar baby, or Unen Balam or Unen Baalam, was another supernatural jaguar worshipped by the ancient Maya. This being was a younger version of the Jaguar God of the underworld. Another god worshipped by the Maya at Palenque, known as Gi by the archaeologists, may be linked to the Jaguar God of the underworld. Gi could be the rising sun, and thus the Jaguar God of the underworld reincarnating as the sun god. The ancient Maya would take the time to record calendar information in monument inscriptions. This included Glyph C, which was part of a group of glyphs discussing the moon. Depending on where the moon was in its cycle, Glyph C could contain one of 3 different images. One of these appears to be the Jaguar God of the underworld. What do you think about discovering a giant cave of an ancient Jaguar God from the Maya civilization? Let us know in the comments below, and the answer to the question we've asked is that the images and symbols used in Maya writing were known as hieroglyphics. Don't forget to subscribe for more such videos.